In this episode, in this new series, which we have started winding down, we are actually talking about the case for miracles in Papa's Pursuit. That's what we're discussing in this episode, the case for miracles in Papa's Pursuit. And why are we doing this? We're doing this because there are instances where you will need to be bailed out by the divine. And then there are instances where you need to work your butt off and apply the laws and the principles of nature that the divine has instituted. People normally think wrongly that when you do things and obey the laws of nature, you're doing what is carnal. You're doing which is something that is not supernatural, and therefore you're not a spiritual person. Nothing can be further from the truth, because it is God who made the natural world that we're existing in. So what instances would you need for Him, and why actually would you need for God to perform a miracle for you and help you? Stay tuned even as we look at one more.
Welcome to the Life Signatures podcast with Lawrence Namale. Lawrence is a life coach, author, and keynote speaker who loves to tackle different topics on purpose, productivity, and resilience. His mission in life is to awaken all your boundless possibilities available in you. Life Signatures podcast is dedicated to bring to reality every single person who knows that deep down in their gut there's got to be more to life than this. And now, here is your host, Lawrence Namale.
Frankly, you don't need to be some religious fanatic to talk about miracles, because, to be honest with you, even in the worlds where people do not acknowledge God, they have used the word miracles in their terminologies. There are some things that just do happen, and you cannot explain how exactly did that happen. You attribute it to, guess what? To a miracle, to a phenomenon that is beyond human understanding. It wouldn't have happened if it was a human to do it. It was a miracle. But why? Why would we be looking for miracles in the first place? Why would we be going out to look for miracles? And in what circumstances, and what reasons would we qualify for us to, in our purpose pursuit, to have miracles come into our lives? Number one, we said in the 2 episodes prior that purpose comes from God, and it's necessarily humanly impossible. Purpose that comes from God is necessarily humanly impossible. That's what we discussed, that you will need God to help you if you're doing God's work. But yesterday we said that the purpose is to glorify God. In other words, you are not existing outside of the realm of the divine. Even if you are existing in the natural, the realm of the supernatural interacts with the natural. And at the end of the day, the ultimate reason for existence ends with the divine. It starts with the divine, comes with the natural, and it ends with the divine. And that's why at some point in time, you and I will need the input of God in our purpose pursuit. But why else would we need the miracles or the divine participation in our purpose pursuits? Number 3, today let us discuss this, that God has the final say in everything. God has the final say in everything. I feel sorry for people who think that God is not there, and maybe they even believe that God is not there. But when it comes to talking about purpose, there is a beginning, there is an end. You have made a lot of information, you've made a lot of theories concerning the beginning and devoid of God, but that's the beginning. How about the end? There is a beginning. Everything that has a beginning has an end. So I can tell you this, that without God there has no beginning. Without God there has not been an end. But with God there is a beginning and there is an end. God has the final say in everything. In other words, if I am continuing to do whatever it is that I'm doing in my pursuit of purpose, I should know where I am going with it at the end of the day. Because if there is no ultimate end in what I am doing, why should I bother with it today in the first place? We can debate about this until, the cows come back home. We can debate about it until we start living on Mars. And Elon Musk is actually acting on that. But the point is that there is no one who has the final say over any life, both physically and spiritually and eternally, by the way God does. Nobody has that power. It is within this realm of total, absolute, eternal certainty that God prescribes our purpose on earth to fit in the overall plan, even as we spoke about it yesterday. It is in that realm of total, absolute eternity and certainty. It is from that particular angle that He created our own purposes, so that we can be able to individually and uniquely pursue them. Therefore, we will need a miracle or two, or the divine, to participate in our purpose pursuits at some point in time. He is involved in it. It's not that He's devoid of it. And don't you think that this purpose pursuit is only spiritual? It's about going to church and healing the sick and so on. There is a part for that, and there are guys who are anointed to do that stuff. There is also teaching. There is also creating infrastructure. There is also raising businesses. There is also conserving the environment. There is also inventing things that are going to make our life better or easier or more effective on the face of the earth. There is industry, there is commerce. All these things are not ungodly. Don't ever think that the only godly things are to do with praise and worship and singing and praying and fasting. Even when you're tamarking, even when you're cutting grass, you're mowing the grass and you're pruning plants and you're modifying stuff and you're making things better, it is God's design to do that stuff. It starts with God. It gives glory to God. And number 3 we're saying is that God has the final say in everything. You will be shocked that all these things we're doing is for the glory of God. The iPhone, oh Lord Almighty, it is for the glory of God. I know many Christians who are cursing Facebook and social media until the lockdown. What happened to the lockdowns of COVID-19? Every Christian, what their salt, they were streaming services online. Using, guess what? The Facebook that they were cursing, that Facebook was initiated by an atheist. Now God is using Facebook. Are you kidding me? What am I saying? I'm saying that ultimately God has the final say in everything. That's it. And that's why you and I might need at some point in time connection with the divine and miracles from the divine. We cannot even begin to think about all these things and fit them in our minds. We might not even have the brain capacity to fathom the fact that God has the final say in everything. And in my purpose pursuit, I am not doing it for me. The next thing to godliness is doing something that impacts someone else. And when you talk about the end of something, you will of course talk about God at the end of the day. Tomorrow we will continue winding up these episodes, even as we're discussing the case for miracles in purpose pursuit. Why do we need the divine in our lives? Stay tuned and bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Life Signatures Radio. If you enjoyed today's show, subscribe to Life Signatures Radio on iTunes, Stitcher, or visit our website at lifesignatures.libsyn.com. Life Signatures Radio, fresh, clean, and inspiring.